Hi everyone, Stephen here. Today I want to speak with you briefly about an exciting and interesting new concept from evolutionary psychology called epistemic trust. All of us have run into the situation where we're working with clients who have very fixed views of themselves in the world that are very difficult to change, although from our point of view, these views are not accurate and get them into lots of problems. And it can be very frustrating working with these types of clients. In therapeutic assessment, my work, we've tried hard to develop empathy for this situation. And for example, I've written and talked a lot about the self-verification motive, a basic human tendency to sort of confirm our self-views so that we feel secure in the world, and about disintegration anxiety, the distress that can happen when our basic views about ourselves and the world are challenged. Well, epistemic trust gives us another layer of empathy for this type of situation with our clients. Basically, what it explains is for the survival of the species, all of us have had to develop a capacity to be very careful about who we take information in from. This is necessary because predators will try to mislead the offspring of their competitors by giving them misinformation to put their own offspring at an advantage. So, um, children and even adolescents have to learn who to trust when they're told something and who to distrust. And the mechanism through which this capacity for knowing whom to trust and distrust um, operates is the secure attachment mechanism. So if you've had caregivers who are basically trustworthy, then you develop this ability to discern who's a privileged source of information that you should believe and who is someone that you should probably disbelieve. And so epistemic trust and epistemic distrust, epistemic meaning knowledge, who we take in knowledge from, this faculty is really, really important for the survival of the species. So what happens if our early caregivers were not trustworthy? If we didn't have a secure attachment and we basically learned um, that we had to be very, very cautious about taking in information from other people because we could get hurt and it could mislead us. So this type of client who's had these kinds of early experiences goes into a situation of what we call epistemic hypervigilance, where their working models about themselves and the world are very resistant to change. Basically, they develop a fixed model and then they hold on to it. So again, it's not just about disintegration anxiety or self-verification. When our difficult clients are having a hard time believing the kinds of experiences or things that we're saying in therapy, it's because they, on a biologic level, feel that their basic survival is at stake. Once you understand this, you can also begin to think about what is necessary for these types of clients to restore the capacity for epistemic trust. And you might already guess, it involves our learning to act like auxiliary secure attachment figures or members of their tribe, showing them that we see them as separate individuals with their own separate needs and interests and personalities, and that we are invested in their well-being and survival. And if you can learn to operate as a clinician so that your client feels that you see him or her as a separate individual and are invested in their survival, then this can lead to the reestablishment of epistemic trust in the relationship with you. And for example, just to give you a little paradoxical example, what should you do if you run into a client who's very, very distrusting of something you say and that says, well, gosh, I'm kind of skeptical of that. I mean, who knows why you might be telling me that? Your first impulse might be to go, oh no, I'm a really trustworthy person. You should believe me. But if you understand epistemic hypervigilance, it leads to almost a counterintuitive response, which is to say, I am really glad to see you being skeptical because there are a lot of people out there who are kind of charlatans who will try to mislead you, right? So, boy, is it really good that you also exercise this skepticism with me. I mean, we don't know each other that well yet, and you haven't had a chance yet to figure out whether I really have your best interests in mind. So, that skepticism, I really appreciate it. I hope you hold on to it, and that you only shift it if I can prove to you in some way that I'm in our relationship really thinking about you and not just my best interests. So maybe a counterintuitive response, but that is the response that is likely to gain epistemic trust. So if this intrigues you some more, I hope that you'll read some of the articles we're writing about epistemic trust lately, and also come to some of the trainings that we're doing in therapeutic assessment on epistemic trust and epistemic hypervigilance. Thank you.